Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again for Thursday night demo night. I'm going to get the quinoa cooking right away because it's going to take about 10 minutes. So I've got a cup of quinoa here that I'm putting into our multi-purpose steamer. We're going to cook this in the microwave. I have 2 cups of water. I always do a 2-to-1 ratio, so 2 cups liquid to 1 cup of solids, rice or quinoa. I'm just going to stir that up, and then I'm going to add into this a teaspoon of our vegetable beef. So anytime I'm cooking rice or quinoa, I always add in our one of our broths, whether it be the chicken or the beef or the vegetable, depending on what we're having. This is a great source of vitamin B12, B6, and it's got inactive nutritional yeast. So it's a great way to get some extra vitamins into you. So I am going to cook this, like I said, in our steamer. I'm just going to put the tray on that comes with our steamer. A little trick on this is I'm just going to brush some oil onto the legs of the steamer so the quinoa doesn't stick to it. So we're just going to go ahead and give it a light coating. This will just help with that. I'm going to put it on top like so, and then we're just going to pop it into the microwave for 10 minutes. So it's great to be back. I had the last couple of weeks off. We were out playing with the car, having a lot of fun, so I had done some pre-recordings. So I've had an absolutely crazy week here. I don't know what your weeks have been like. You know how you just have that week that nothing seems to go right? So I'm driving into work and I'm thinking, oh boy, what am I gonna make tonight? I had no clue. I knew I had a big bowl of tomatoes from our garden, this huge zucchini that we got out of the garden, some carrots, and some baby potatoes. So I Googled a recipe, and all I put in the search bar was tomatoes and zucchinis. Hey Morgan, how are you? Glad you could pop in here tonight. And it came up as, let me just read this to you, as Zucchini Medley. So it's got a little bit of everything in it. I'm gonna just read you the recipe. This feeds 6 people. It calls for 2 zucchinis, obviously not this size of zucchini, a tablespoon of butter, 1 small potato diced, a half a small onion chopped, 1 clove of garlic, 1 red bell pepper, 2 cups sliced mushrooms, a half a cup of dry white wine, 1.5 cups of tomatoes or diced tomatoes, corn, and then 2 cups of the quinoa from 1 cup done cooked. So that's what we're making tonight. So I'm going to put a little bit of an Epicure spin onto this. So I didn't have any fresh garlic. I don't have an onion. I do, however, we have these wonderful spices, our minced garlic, which is in my pantry all the time, and the toasted onion as well. So the garlic, a half a teaspoon of this is equal to 1 medium garlic clove. I used to throw out more garlic. I'd buy it, we'd eat half of it, and then the other half would go in the garbage. And the same with toasted onion. I don't always have fresh onion in here in the house. So 1 teaspoon of this is equal to 1/4 of a medium onion. So these are great spices to have in your pantry at all times. However, because this called for thyme too, I thought, my mind immediately went to Italian. So I pulled out our marinara seasoning, which has herbs, onion, got that covered, red bell pepper, garlic, got it covered, black pepper, and spices. So we're going to use this as our spice for tonight's dish. So to get started, I'm going to cut up some carrots that we had out of the garden and the potatoes, and I'm just going to chop these up in no particular way. They're just what I would call a rough chop. So one part about this time of year that I love is I can just go out to the garden and grab whatever's ready and make it into a meal. So these are they're little purple potatoes. I thought that they were really cool when I saw them. give some extra color into a meal. I'm just going to cut those up like so. Instead of using butter, I'm going to use some olive oil. I'm going to heat up my pan here. I'm just going to put some olive oil into that. And then I'm going to put the potatoes and the carrots in, because these are my hardest vegetables, so we want to get those soft. So this is our cutting mat that we have. It makes for a nice, easy transfer. I'm not spilling anything, which I am notorious for doing. I'm just going to add some salt and pepper into it. So tonight I'm using our turmeric and black pepper. And some salt. I'm going to use our herb garlic. So again, this will just add some more flavor to the meal. So we're going to have that going. I'm just going to give it a little stir. Just kind of coat the carrots and the potatoes with the oil, and then I'm just going to cover that. And then we're going to get busy and we're going to cut up the rest of our vegetables. Does anyone have any questions at this point in time? No? Okay. So I'll just continue cutting up this massive zucchini, and I'm just going to cut it into cubes, almost. So while I'm doing this, I'd like to share with you, I don't know if anybody has noticed my posts, but on September 14th, we've got what is called the Epic Life Challenge. And what that is, it's an accountability group to help you get back on track with your eating, meal planning, portion control, and it's a good group to get ideas from, just learn, like I said, portion sizes, eating 3 meals a day, no snacking. I don't know what your summer's been like, but I'm definitely ready to get back on track and watch what I'm eating and when I'm eating it. That's the other big issue on a lot of that. So I'm just going to cut up some more of the zucchini. Like I said, it starts on September 14th. It is totally free. It marries really well with our Epic Life collection that we have, but I'm going to do a live video on the weekend on that, so I'll go into more detail onto what exactly the challenge is, as well as the collection. But like I said, there is no requirement to buy the collection. You can join the Epic Life Challenge free, and they also do giveaways. I think it's like $9,000 Canadian in prizes, and they'll give meal packages away. It's a really great company for that. So there, we've got some zucchini cut up. Now I'm going to do our tomatoes that came out of our garden. And I'm going to switch knives on these. I am going to use our paring knife, which really cuts well through tomatoes. I don't know if you guys can see how easy and clean it cuts. There's no, you know how sometimes when you're cutting a tomato and it drags through, and then you're just getting the liquid all over the place and making a mess out of your tomato. So along with this meal, I could have very easily have added chicken to it if I wanted to, but we're just going to keep it just as a vegetable meal. It would be a great addition as a side, so if you wanted to do like barbecue chicken, this would make for a really good side dish, but you can definitely do it as the full meal as well. I'm just going to give these guys another stir here. Nicely. Okay, so the other part of the recipe it called for was some white wine, so I'm going to get that. The best part about cooking with wine is you also get to pour yourself some. So it called for a half a cup, so I'm just going to put in a quarter of a cup because of the fact we are cutting this recipe down. And again, these are our prep bowls that come, they also come in our business kit, but you can buy them separately. They've got the measurements on the side and they come with a silicone lid. So they're excellent for taking leftovers to work with you, for storing in the fridge. Okay, so now I'm going to dump into this our zucchini and our tomatoes. Oh, and I forgot to chop up our green pepper, so let me do that one real quick too. And again, all of these vegetables came out of the garden, so it makes for a very easy meal when you can just go out and pick everything you need. These cut up. And again, I am using our paring knife. You can see how sharp it is. Let me just show you how easily it cuts through everything. If you wanted to, you could use hot peppers in this mixture. You could use whatever you want. So again, I'm just going to pick everything up on our cutting mat here, like so, and put it into the frying pan. Give that all a stir. I'm going to add in our white wine. And then I'm going to add in our seasoning, which was our marinara. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of this in. And I'm just going to sprinkle that in, give it a stir. This is our 4-in-1 measuring spoon. I've got 2 of these now. They're super handy. It's got the tablespoon, a half tablespoon, a teaspoon, a half teaspoon, and a 1/4 teaspoon on this side. And it fits into all our jars. So we're just going to stir that around, and we're going to put the lid back on it so that they can get all soft. Turn up the heat a little bit. The other great thing we could do with this recipe is we could actually take it and make a salad with it. So I've got the kiwi cooking, so you have that cold. You chop up some tomatoes, some cucumber, feta cheese. You could put that in there, put the zucchini into it. I'm going to check that in a minute. And then we could just use our Greek salad dressing and drizzle it on the top, and that would be fantastic. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do with the leftover kiwi that I have. So the Greek dressing would be 2 tablespoons of dressing mixed with a 1/4 cup of olive oil and a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. I put that in the cruet, give it a shake, it's good to go, and like I said, you can just drizzle it around on there. So let's check this, see how it turned out. See if it needs any more time. Should have oiled the back of the steamer, the tray, I mean. So let's just give this a stir. It looks good. I'm just going to pop it in for another minute, I think. There's a little bit of liquid left in here, not much. And again, none of this comes over top. The tray holds all your liquids. It doesn't boil up, so it makes clean up a breeze. This whole meal I'm doing with my steamer and the pot, so that's going to be 2 dishes that I have to clean up at the end of the night. That in itself to me is a lifesaver. I had a Canadian customer send me the picture of a dinner that she made for her grandchildren tonight. It was our 1-pot pasta, which I believe was in the Canadian catalog last year. And she made it all in just 1 pot, just like the name of it says. She said the kids ate it up, it was delicious, and she said the best part was she had 1 pot to clean up. So not only do we bring healthy meals to the table, it's easy and it makes for a quick cleanup. So that's all I have. We're just gonna wait for the kiwi, and then I'm gonna throw it in here and add it in. I will take a picture of the finished product plated, but this smells absolutely amazing. I don't know if you guys, let me hold this up for you so you can see what it all looks like in the pan. And again, I just went out to the garden, I Googled tomatoes and zucchini and just added the Epicure spices in place of the spices that they had in the recipe. So this is done. I'm just going to scoop half of it into here because like I said, I'm not using it all. I'm going to cool it and then use some for a salad that I'm going to make on Saturday. Go. Mix that around and then we are done. And in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, because I'm just going to let this simmer a bit more. So between 15 and 20 minutes, you've got a healthy meal on the table or a side dish. Like I said, you could serve this with barbecued chicken, steak, whatever you wanted to. And it's that simple and that easy. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Have a great rest of your week and an even better weekend. Next week I will be back and I'm going to, since it's the last Thursday before Labor Day, I'm going to focus in on some quick breakfast tricks that we can do and some lunch treats, snacks, granola bars, that sort of thing that we can make ahead of time and be able to pack them in kids' lunches, whether they're going back to school or if it's done virtually. You're still going to need to feed them. You're still need to have the snacks in the house and available to them to make that transition go smoothly. So thank you everyone for joining me. We'll see you next Thursday. Bye.